Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Andrew and I'm the artist for everyone, and this channel was primarily set up to document a self-built pool without any professional help that I've undertaken on my own, calling in occasional friends every now and again when jobs are a bit too big for one man, but basically doing it myself. Started this build in October, we're now coming to the end of it, but still quite a bit of work to do in snagging, still got tiling to do, still got stonework to do, still got various other things to do. This is a weekly update video which I publish once a week covering the topics that I've done this week. The weather's changed here now and it's in the low 30s to medium 30s, which is great. Kids are in the pool all the time, the pool's being used in the pool till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, messing around, it's great. However, what it does do is it makes it so that any mortar, any cement or anything just goes turbo hard really quickly, and it makes working quite hard. And also, if you're doing something that's a bit strenuous, you soon run out of energy and kind of get tired. But nevertheless, jobs I've done this week: started tiling my terrace. Finally, chose the tiles. Now started putting them down. It's beginning to look good. A couple of pictures for you. Not much footage because it's such a slow process. Done some more stonework around the plant room and the solar shower. Went and got some stones with my neighbour friend, and some of the stones are probably circa 150 kilos a piece. So gave a quick call to one of my friends. He popped round and he's just helped me because it's just a bit easier when you've got two people moving a crane, watching a stone descend, adjusting it, shimming it and things like that. I can do it on my own, but it's much easier and safer with the second person, and I just give my friend a call and he popped down and spent a few hours with me doing that. So I installed some big stones. And I've modified the plant room. So we've run in this system now for a couple of weeks. I found some flaws in it. One of the flaws was when I turned pump 2 on in my original design and the water runs through my solar panels. Bearing in mind this is the new pump, this is the big one horsepower one that I bought. The constraint of the water running through the solar panels is slowing the water down that much that water is only just about trickling out to the waterfall, running down the walls and running out to the side of the pool. So I had to kind of consider a way I could amend this, and the way I did it was I took my original design and I've modified it. I've added some more valves in, and what I can now do is I can change the direction of all the flow from pump 2, and to do that I've had to put 4 inline valves in. To put the 4 inline valves in, what I've also had to do is I've had to bung up on my pool and drain my system down, but I'll explain that in the plant room section coming up shortly. I've done a little update on the video of the robot doing its job. Very impressed with it. It's now cleaning the pool without any problems for a low budget robot, and very happy with it, and a bit of tiling. So enjoy. So after having a chat with my neighbour, we went out in his tractor again down to the fields where there's a big pile of stones. Some of these stones were that big that we actually had to chain them around. Now it doesn't look that big, that stone, to be honest, but when you look at the size of him in his thing, he's only got about 8 or 9 stones in there. And then when you actually start looking at them on the floor and you start putting something in comparison to them, the big stones, 150, 180 kilos a piece. Well, anyway, my friend Tom came round and we placed the 3 big stones. We've already placed the one next to the shovel. We're placing the one in the solar shower and then the smaller one on the far end of the wall. That took us about 2 hours in total to place them 3 stones. Nice descents, but you can see the one to the right of the solar shower, the big one in its place, the one at the end of where the shovel is resting on, and then the smaller one in that, all done and dusted. So as you can see, this is my original design where I thought I'd considered everything, but what I hadn't considered is that pump 2, when running through the solar panels, wouldn't have enough power to clear the waterfall. So I had to do a redesign where basically I had to work out ways I could isolate and change the directions of flow in all different ways. So this is this new design that you can see on the screen, and then what I had to do is I had to run through a scenario of all the valves opened and closed to see how it all worked. So happy with the design, I then went on to installing AV1, as you can see in these pictures here. Before I had to install AV1 and any other work, I had to put rubber bungs in all the inlets of the pool. So the central bottom drain of the pool had to be bunged up and the jets had to be bunged up. Once I'd done this, I could drain the system down from the plant room side and install AV1. Once I'd installed AV1, I then had to work out how I could install AV2 and AV3. These were a bit more difficult because you're installing them between fixed points, as you can see. So the top part was okay because I had the flexibility in the solar panels to move it around, but when you look at the bottom part, it was fixed between two of the jets. So even installing one of the, even just installing the T-junction, it basically meant that I had to install two couplings so that I had the flexibility to be able to slide the pipes together. So once that was all done, I then installed AV4, and AV4, basically I was intending to put it on the right hand side of the pump, but as you can see in there, there's not much space, so it actually meant that I had to cut pipe out to the left hand side of the pump, put a straight connector in, and then put AV4 in. After this, I tested and commissioned all the system, and everything seems to be working fine, so great result, and I can now run both systems independent of each other and put them on timers, etc. So to give you an update on the little pool robot I bought, this is the MX9 model. Straight out of the box, you can see that the parts just clip together really easy. All the articulation is in a very simple valve, and then if you can actually open the bonnet of it and look inside and see all the mechanisms inside if you think it's not running right or something is jammed. But as you can see, you just push and click it all together. As you can see, I've got a 9-meter hose lined up, and I needed to extend it by 1 meter simply because it wasn't getting quite into the corners. But this is just to show you how easy it is to extend the pipe. It's just a simple push together quarter turn, not even quarter turn. But then what you do is you basically take the end of the hose and you connect it into the top of the robot with a simple push down and turn, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Lower it into the water and it starts filling itself up. But what I wanted to show you here is the yellow marker that's on one of the wheels, and one of the things that it tells you to do is, as you're setting it up, you have to count how many revolutions this does in a certain period of time to make sure it's not running too slow or too fast. And I presume that you just change your filter power and your suction power to change it. And then you connect it to your dedicated hoover point, which I installed in my pool. Simple adapter, rubber plug that fills any gaps depending on how big your adapter is. Clicks on the end, and then you just go and take it and plug it into your dedicated pool line. Once it's plugged in, that's it. It just sets off going. It just chundles around all day long. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you the articulation and the rotation of these wheels that you have to check against. It's running now. As you can see, the wheels are turning, and if I turn it round, you can see the yellow marker. And what you have to do when you're setting it up is count how many times that revolves, and it also sets the pace of it. First time I did it, I had a little bit too slow, and it just cleaned the bottom of my pool, and I was happy. Turned up the power, and hey presto, it's now cleaning on my walls without a problem. And this is it actually climbing up one of the walls, doing its job. So a couple of minutes of it just running here so you can see it actually doing its job, and then we'll move on to the next one.